Hey there, it's Tuesday, January 25th. It is the 25th day of Vloguary. Can you believe it's almost over? 25 days so far. Today, we're going to talk about Harvest Host. It's one of the videos I promised you. Today, we're going to do Harvest Host. We're also going to talk about 1,000 trails and monthly expenses, how much I've spent so far in the entire year that I've been traveling. If we're going to cover those videos in the next few days of Vloguary. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe and like this channel and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out. I mean, it means a great deal to me, and you'll get alerted when we cover those videos. So today, it's all about Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. What is Boondockers Welcome and what is Harvest Host? Well, let's start with Harvest Host and then we'll go into Boondockers Welcome. Harvest Host is a membership program. I think it's like $100 a year or something like that. It essentially allows you to stay for one night in your RV at different really unique locations, mostly like wineries and breweries, farms, attractions. I think they even have some golf courses that are part of it. Essentially, they're businesses. Harvest Host lets you stay at businesses. And what's nice about it is, A, it's free. So what you get is you get a free place to stay overnight. That's not a truck stop or a rest stop or a Walmart, but something nicer, because a lot of these breweries, a lot of these wineries, you know, they're gorgeous. They're out in the middle of nowhere. They're quiet, and it's free, just like a Walmart. The only thing that they ask is that you make some sort of purchase while you are there. You just contribute to that business somehow. So the business gets extra customers, you get a free place to stay. So is it really free? Well, I just know, like, for me, if I'm going to spend I just know for me, like, if I'm going to spend $30 or $40 a night at a campsite, I think I would almost rather spend the $30 at a small business and support them and get a bottle of wine or have dinner or something like that as opposed to the campsite. Now, there are some rules for Harvest Host. One, you have to be fully self-contained in your rig. You can't have any tents outside or any of that. Because it is a business, you can't really loiter outside. They don't have hookups. You can't, like, go put fire pits out and do all that other kinds of stuff. But you kind of can after the business closes. There was this one time when I was leaving the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. I stayed at a Harvest Host, and there were like 6 other rigs that were out there, and we all made friends. We were all drinking wine, and once the business closed, you were on their property for, you know, the night. So someone brought out a guitar and a fire pit, and we just had a great time, and we chatted, and so it was a lot of fun. But every host has rules. Couple things to note about staying at a Harvest Host, though. These guys are not hotels. They're not RV parks. You know, they have other businesses that they're running. So as a user, we need to be aware that these guys have a business they're running. You know, their business is not RV parks. So maybe their communication might be a little slow for approvals or something. Maybe they won't have all of the frequently asked questions. A lot of them may not even be RVers. So you kind of have to bear with them a little bit. But just remember, we're guests on their property. We do everything we can to just kind of keep as small of a footprint as possible. I do, at least, and I recommend that everyone does that. They're trying to be good hosts. We're trying to be good guests. What's the alternative? Walmart. This package, it's $99 a year for Harvest Host. I looked at my accounts. I stayed at about 9 nights in 2021 on Harvest Host. And why only 9? I only do it when I'm going from one place to the other. You're only really allowed to stay one night there. So it's just, you go there, you stop, and then you move on to the next one. You go on and you stop and you move on to the next one. I don't really travel that way. You know, a lot of times I'll travel for 4 to 6 hours and I'll stop for a week or 10 days or 2 weeks and then I'll go. So I very rarely have time to just stop and go and stop and go. That's really not the way I travel. But when I do, like, I remember I had to make a beadline to the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. So I stayed at this really great spot. It's called the Junkyard on 66 Brewery. It was right outside of Albuquerque. And it was awesome. It's actually a working junkyard that also was a brewery that just had this wide open field that you could stay at. I stayed there for a night on my way out to the Balloon Fiesta. It was absolutely fantastic. There were tons of rigs. I made a video about this. I'll link it here. Tons of rigs that were coming in and then going out, because a lot of them were doing the same thing that I was. You know, you get into Albuquerque a little bit early. The convenience was just there, and the staff and everybody over there was just the greatest. That was an example of a brewery. Another brewery I stayed at was right outside of Denver, Colorado in Evergreen. It's called the El Rancho Brewery. Huge parking lot. Well, actually not huge, but I was able to fit in there. But again, these guys have it down. I've always said that this is the model for how Harvest Host should work, because they had a welcome package, they had coupons. When you get in, there's coupons that you can use at the main bar, and then I normally would go back to the rig and then cook some dinner and have some food or maybe take a nap or something, and then you go back in the evening and there's this basement area where there's more coupons and there's live music and such. So that place was absolutely fantastic. It was called the El Rancho Brewery, and it was in Evergreen, Colorado, just outside of Denver, on the west side of Denver. Pueblo Air Museum, outside of Pueblo, Colorado, at the airport. Another great spot that I was just able to walk right up into, and I was the only one there. Where else did I stay? I did one golf thing. So here's something that's going on with the golf. There used to be this golf package upgrade where you can stay at, but I was just on the website, and it seems like it may have gone away. It seems like it's not. It seems like it's not there anymore. Rowley's Red Barn. So I was going from Provo, Utah to St. George, Utah, and Rowley's Red Barn is right on the side of the road, really great. And I went in there, I got some amazing fresh apple cider. They have homemade ice cream, tons of produce. I think I still have some of their blueberry jam that I use every once in a while as well. That was just an amazing spot. Just, again, I left my campsite in Provo one day early just to kind of go to this, unique spot. One of the other things I wanted to mention, the website and the way that you find things are great, because you can actually go and you can type in your route, and you can say, I'm starting at point A, I'm going to point B, and it will create a route and it will show you all the different locations along the way. So a lot of them, like Boondockers Welcome, didn't have that. You just have to search by map. But here you can put in a route and it'll tell you all the locations that you have along the way, which is It really is a nice thing. So if you're beelining it and you're going from point A to point B and you're trying to make it in so many days, this is much better, in my opinion, than a truck stop, than a rest area, than a Walmart, than just pulling off on the side of the road. This is a real place, a real business where you can have some real food and meet other RVers too. Good things about Harvest Host is they are adding locations everywhere. Right now, I just looked, there are over 3,000 different locations for Harvest. Is it 3,000? Yeah, 3,000 all around the country in Canada. It's really a great thing. And I'm excited. I wish that you could do longer stays. I understand why you can't. I wish that one thing is you can do longer stays, but whatever. There's another site out there called Boondockers Welcome, and last year they merged, or Harvest Host bought Boondockers Welcome, and they just in October merged the two platforms. So now you can see all the locations on just one map. So what is Boondockers Welcome and how is it different than Harvest Host? Boondockers Welcome is primarily residents, community members, people who say, hey, I have a yard, you can park your rig in my driveway. So you might be staying in somebody's home or somebody's yard or somebody's private residence, as opposed to Harvest Host, which is businesses. You deal with people differently. I did some Boondockers Welcome. I did it in Colorado, and I forgot, it was a hemp farm that I stayed at, but I booked that one through Boondockers Welcome, and I think I stayed like 3 or 4 nights there. I just had a reservation that I just canceled, my plans changed, but in Orange County, I stayed with this really nice family just on the side of the road, and they said, oh yeah, you can stay for 3 days, whatever you need, and they were really accommodating to be able to do that. So because you're dealing with Boondockers Welcome, you're dealing with private residences, there's a lot more flexibility that can go into it for longer term stays. The other thing that's great about Boondockers Welcome is a lot of the hosts have hookups. So you can plug into their power, they might even have water. I don't know if they have dumps, but you can at least get that. And all they ask for is just a donation for the night. It might be $5, it might be $10, it might be nothing. I know a lot of hosts won't accept anything, but there are some hosts that will say, hey, just contribute for whatever you use, honor system kind of stuff. Every host is different. When you're booking with Boondockers Welcome, again, you're dealing directly with the property owners. When you're dealing with Harvest Host, you may not be dealing directly with a business owner. You might be dealing with an operations person, or you might be dealing with a reception person, who just doesn't know all the details that go along with a Harvest Host. So 2 different things, but you can get one or the other, or you can get both. And I really recommend getting both, because when you're looking at the cost of the year, just using it and having it available is so nice, just as a backup. But I want to do more Harvest Host locations, but I just don't travel from point A to point B to point C as often. I had the opportunity to talk to the CEO of Harvest Host when I was at Escapade in Rock Springs, Wyoming. So I'm going to play a little bit of that, because hearing it from him when we talk about unique destinations. He has a great story about his most unique destination as a Harvest Host member. So here we go. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Joel Holland, and I'm the CEO of Harvest Host. The team is working really hard to add over 200 new hosts every single month. I love Harvest Host because it's always a unique experience. The most unique experience I've had was visiting Heartland Farm in Kansas, which is a farm run by 3 nuns who are in their 80s. And one of them makes alpaca scarves, one makes soaps, and the third gives massages. So if you've never had a massage from an 80-year-old nun on an alpaca farm, highly recommend it. And that's just an example of the kind of experience where you leave that and you want to tell everybody. Like, guess what I did last weekend? It was way cooler than what you did. We are always adding new types of locations. Most of our new additions come from member suggestions. So anyone who's watching and has a suggestion for a host, let us know. Our recruiting team will then reach out and try to recruit them. Some of the new categories we're looking at: marinas, churches. There are thousands, if not tens of thousands, of churches around the country that have space for RVers to park. We're starting to work with them more directly, and we're trying to come up with new unique categories every month. So let us know if you have any ideas.
So I'm going to encourage you guys to check it out. In the description, remember we've talked about like things in the description box? I'm going to have a link. It's a Claim the Vision link where if you click on it, you'll be able to get 15% off your sign-up membership. So if it's something that you're considering, just go over there, click the link in the description. It'll take you to a little form. You can go do all your research and your due diligence, and you'll get 15% off. So $100, you're going to save $15. So not bad, right? It is a really cool system. I like it. I use it a lot. What questions do you guys have about Boondockers Welcome or Harvest Host? Leave them in the comments below, and I will be happy to get to them and talk about it. It's just a lot of fun. You really meet some great people on the road when you're doing this. You're very rarely at a Harvest Host by yourself, but you're not surrounded by like 800 rigs either. It's normally a small group of maybe 2, 4, 6, people, and you just kind of get together. Where are you going? What are you doing? It's just a really great community. All right, that's it from today from Quartzsite, Arizona. I hope you learned something new about Boondockers Welcome. I hope you learned a little bit new about Harvest Hosts. If you have more questions, just drop them in the comments below or give me your thoughts. And if you are a member, put in the comments down below what was your favorite spot that you've stayed at so far and why it was a favorite. That's always that word of mouth, both for great experiences and helping out small businesses. That means a lot as a small business owner too. So let's go ahead and show some love to some people that are really doing a great, putting together a great experience for us RVers and travelers. So drop that in the comments below. That'll be a lot of fun to read. Have a good one, and I will see you tomorrow.